Hi, and welcome to A Day in the Garden with me, Christina Linder. Today I have been in the garden this morning and I've gathered up some interesting greens that I will make into a kissing ball today. And I have a few tips and hints that you might find useful. So we're going to use floral foam, which you can soak in water. And we're going to use a third of that, like that. And this is very easy to stick stems into. What we're going to do is we're going to wrap it in a piece of chicken wire. And this is going to keep it in place and make the mechanics very easy to work with. And I'm going to secure that simply with a piece of ribbon, which I'm going to thread through and make sure that you have cut it so that these little windy parts don't come apart. Like so. And this, of course, can get suspended anywhere. You can use fresh material like I am, or you can, if you want, use artificial materials as well. So we're just going to tie that so it stays where we want it. Like that. And we can do the bow afterwards when we're all done. So I'm just going to wind this up while I work with it. It is a wired ribbon, which makes it very easy to work with. So there, now we're ready to start. So in my garden, I grow a lot of different types of evergreen materials. I love the different textures and colors. And in order to put this into the floral foam, we're going to take off a bit of the branches on the bottom, and now it's simply a matter of inserting that. And of course we're going to go for a fairly round shape. So we want to make sure that the distance is about the same on both sides. And then we're simply going to carry on putting the branches in. You can tell this is fresh. There's a little spider. Opposing sides. Like that. So now I have the length, the width, I should say. And then we're going to go for the height and the bottom. This is a project that can be maybe done more easily if you suspend it while you work on it, but that's basically the shape now. And now it's just a matter of filling in all the spaces in between these pieces. And I'm going to use a few different colors and textures. And because of this chicken wire now, it really helps the greens to stay where I put them. And when I plant my garden, I try to find contrasting textures and colors in foliage. And of course, by growing evergreens, you have a little bit of interest in the garden in the winter time as well, which is very valuable. Here I have a skimmia. This is rubinella, and this is the male version. It comes in male and female. The female version have berries, which the males don't, but the males have these really pretty flower buds. Let's see what we got here. And here is another favorite. This is Pyrus japonica. And this has a little bit of a shinier texture, which will contrast nicely with what we got in there already. A little more skimmia. And then here is a different texture again, and as you can see, I'm taking the needles off here. There. So if you hang this outside, it'll stay fresh literally for months. If you keep it inside, it's very important that the oasis block stays wet, because that's going to allow the greens to drink. And you can also put in a little bit of flowers or seed pods that may remain in your garden. Here's a piece of a hydrangea that is now like paper, but it's still pretty. And then, just take that off. Your hands smell wonderful after you've done these crafts. And if you wish, you can, of course, add decorations like balls, glass balls, or cones, or even artificial flowers can look really pretty in together with the fresh greens. So it's coming along, and then when it's suspended, then that's basically what you'll have. And because of the chicken wire, this is not going to fall apart. Even if it's outside and the weather is rough, it's going to stay together. And this type of a method you can, of course, also use with fresh flowers. If you're doing flowers for a wedding in the summertime or something like that, you can do this exact technique with roses or carnations or any other flower you want. Christmas is kind of a time where we use a lot of holly. If you don't have holly in your garden, because it's very, very prickly, this is called osmanthus. And it's also a little prickly, but not as bad as holly, and it stays a smaller size typically. Holly trees can get very large. There. So then you can see the contrast between the different types of foliage that we got in here. And now we're going to work on the bottom part a little bit, so we'll be careful not to break the top. And it's actually quite a wonderful thing. In the wintertime, we tend to have a lot of windstorms, and a lot of this material fall out of the trees, where it's very convenient to collect on the ground. We had a big windstorm last night, and several branches fell into my yard, so that was perfect. A little more osmanthus. And the idea, of course, is that you want to cover all of the foam and all of the wires so that it looks like there's just greens. And there. And it smells absolutely wonderful. Working backwards here. All right. We have a few more holes to fill. And you can also see the shape of the pyrus. It covers very well the oasis underneath. Here a little bit more skimmia. There we go. I prefer using a pair of very sturdy scissors when I cut greens. I find that I have much better control, and with a knife sometimes it's hard to get exactly the cut that you want. Here's another interesting plant. This is called Sarcococa, which is quite the mouthful, or Himalayan sweet box. And it's a shrub that grows fine in the shade. And the flowers bloom in the wintertime, and they are incredibly fragrant. So it is a real treasure in the garden, especially if you have an area in your garden where in the wintertime you're outside, so that you can enjoy the fragrance. The flowers aren't very colorful, they're small and white, but the perfume is absolutely magnificent. All right. I think we are working our way around here. It's just in a little spot here. Like that. And then we're going to do a nice bow. The wired ribbon, of course, is wonderful because you can shape it any way you want. So I'm going to put the bow closer to the greens here. Like that. Pull it tight. And with the wire, of course, you can shape the bow and make it look very nice. There we go. So that's the final result. And of course you can dress it up further with fresh flowers if you want. You could put red roses in here if you wanted to, or carnations if you want them to last better. And these can be displayed inside or outside. All right, thank you so very much for spending this time with me, and I hope I've inspired you to try building your own kissing ball. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe.